All right. What's up? What's up, everybody? Okay. So I'm going to do things a little bit differently today. First, let me start off with the episode. My name is Michael Music. I'm reading this book, Think and Grow Rich, and I am just sharing my thoughts on it. Okay. Now, I wanted to talk today about the chapter on faith. And I'm gonna do things a little bit differently. I'm gonna freeball this chapter because I felt like recently when I would talk about thinking real rich and read from the book, it just didn't sound like me. So so here's the thing. I wanted to take a step back, talk real quick about desire on the first principle of getting rich, and then I'll lead this into faith. So yesterday I spoke about, if you have a dream or a wish that you want, right, you gotta write it down. Okay. It's not gonna become reality when it's just in your head, right? At that point, it's just a thought. So the fastest way to make it physical is to literally take the idea you have, write it down on a goal card, and there's six specific steps. So if I really had to sum them up really quick, I suggest that you make a goal, write down, I'm so happy and grateful now that, write exactly the amount of money you want to earn. And he says specifically that you want to be definite in the amount, right? It's not efficient to say, I want more money. On that note, someone can send you $1 and there you go. You have your goal. You got more money. Okay. You want to be specific on the dollar amount that you want. And then you want to be specific on the dollar amount that you want it by. So I'm so happy and grateful now that I want X amount of dollars by Y date. Okay. So you write that down on this goal card. Now, here is the secret. Napoleon Hill, he said, no fewer than 100 times has the secret been revealed on these pages and in this book on how to truly get rich. So here's the secret. I'll say it to you, and do not let this go over your head. The idea is you got to get emotionally involved with this goal twice a day. Okay. If you listen to this video and you don't do this, then you might as well have not even watched it. Okay. This was something that I realized I wasn't doing. No matter, I did 100 episodes on Think and Grow Rich, and I wasn't getting emotionally involved with the goal every single day, morning and night. Okay. So what did I do? I literally printed out a habit tracker, wrote down getting emotionally involved with my goal, and every day I know whether I did it or not. So the secret is to truly feel yourself in possession of the goal. Okay. Neville Goddard once said the feeling is the secret. So you gotta literally act for that moment that it's already done, that whatever dollar amount you received, I know you put it out in the future, but you gotta be like, okay, what would it feel like if I had this goal achieved right now? Okay, now that feeling is what's going to actually help you bring this into reality, right? It's not going to help by logically thinking about this goal. Okay, so now I'm going to transition to the second principle of Think and Grow Rich, and it's the chapter on faith. Okay, so what is faith? Well, he says faith is it's a state of mind and it can be cultivated at will. Okay, now what does that mean? It's a state of mind and can be cultivated at will. Well, a state of mind, I don't have an exact definition on what that is, but bear with me here. When I say it can be cultivated at will, right? Like I gotta take another step back. All right. Am I talking about, going to church and praying, like that type of faith, or like any type of religion that you got? No, I'm talking about the science of believing here. Okay. So in this book, he gives clear-cut instructions on how to truly believe in what you've written down, right? You can write it down all you want, but this desire, right? You can become obsessed with it all you want, right? This goal, you can think about it all the time, but if you do not believe in it, it's pretty evident it's not going to come true, right? The secret is to believe in it. So I'm going to share with you exactly how you develop faith. And it is actually through the principle of auto suggestion. So, this is the idea of planting this goal into your subconscious mind. And the only way to do that is to repeatedly get emotionally involved with the goal. Okay. I don't care, right? For me, this is me talking to me, right? I don't care how many times you don't believe what you written down at first. It's every day. You write down what you want and you act it out for that time being, right? When you say I'm gonna get emotionally involved, you literally feel yourself with the goal in mind and you act it out. You gotta truly feel it. And it is through the repetition that this idea will be planted into your subconscious mind. Okay, now that was the secret right there. You develop a healthy obsession with what it is that you want, and what you do after that is you literally use science to believe it, and that is only through repetition, right? You may not believe it at first, but even what I'm suggesting right here, you may not believe these instructions, but I'm telling you, this is direct to the point on how to plant this idea into your subconscious mind. Okay, so that's what I mean by the science of faith, right? We can actually use the principles of just simply auto suggestion, which I'll talk about tomorrow much more in depth, to properly believe in this goal. Okay, so that was it. That was uh what I wanted to say about developing faith, right. The idea is to plant this into our mind, and there's a lot more to be said, but ultimately that was the instructions right there. So, hey Sean. Um all right, so I'm not sure if there's anything else to be said. Honestly, I'll have Sean help me out. Hey, what's up?
Can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Hey, I just want to say thank you for doing this. I love what you're doing. It's changing the world. Literally, it is. And you're at episode 111. Now, the other thing I do is check the angel numbers on 111 and see how powerful that is. So that's kind of cool if you go check the angel numbers. So today was about chapter 2. Was it about faith? Was that? Yeah.
Yeah. So I wanted to freeball it today. I'm glad you joined. I wanted to do it without reading the book because I felt I felt off when I was reading the book. I felt like it wasn't me speaking it. I don't know if you remember, you said like what is like the secret to you on faith? And so I personally, I studied it last night and this morning to get ready for today's episode. And I personally felt that for me, the big idea today was the science of repetition and like I said, emotionally getting involved with your goal. And that's the way to develop the belief. Now, even if I don't truly 100% believe it yet, I do believe in the process about repeatedly getting emotionally involved with this goal card. And that's sort of the big takeaway that I wanted to mention today. So, any thoughts
Well,
on that?
the thing about autosuggestion and belief and faith is that if I try to memorize faith, which is what repetition is doing, I can't memorize faith. The reason is because I can memorize
Mm-hmm.
a fact. I can memorize the syllabus from Science of Getting Rich. There is a thinking step from which all things are made that permeates, penetrates, and fills the inner spaces of the universe. Blah blah blah. Go on, go on, go on.
Mm-hmm.
But I got that from repetition. The thing that I love that you just triggered in me is that when we do the repetition repetition, most people say, well, how do I get absolute faith? Through repetition. But I can't. If you start with this, it's always a compounding effect. It doesn't incrementally, faith doesn't incrementally grow, it compounds. Now, it also compounds in destruction. Because you don't lose, man, I had complete faith in you, and then all of a sudden you went to hell in a handbasket. You lost all faith in somebody. How does one action cause you to lose all faith, right? Like couples and cheating. I completely destroyed my faith in you. No, that or you're emotionally disengaged. People make mistakes. We quantify the mistake based upon how we identify. Listen, somebody cheats on somebody, doesn't bother me a damn bit. So it's fair. So this idea of belief and auto-suggestion of repeating the goal card, it quantums it, and then all of a sudden you go from almost believing to unshakable belief. And that's the part where most people give up. That's the part where, man, I've tried this for a year. How big is your dream? Because you've been waiting on it for a decade. Maybe another 24 months. Is it okay if you had everything you want for the rest of your life from now until forever? Well, I don't know if you even started on your belief. I don't even know if you started on your faith. If you gave up today, I'm not sure you started.
Got it. So very interesting, because it does. It seems like it is a process, and you not only have to have faith in the goal, but also have faith in the process of what's really written down in the instruction booklet. And it's interesting because, truthfully, I've done this over 100 episodes, but I'm on day 3 or 4 of getting emotionally involved with the goal twice a day. So, like, really, it's like starting. It's starting the beginning.
Out of V8. So here's the question: you're on day 4, emotionally engaged twice a day. So you've done it for 8 times. How do you feel?
How do I feel? Well,
8 times now.
I feel like I do have it much better than the first time. I feel like there's a lot more room to still drive this idea in. I definitely notice, quantum leap in terms of like that desire feeling and being like, okay, now let's go about this, season much more seriously than the last few. I really wanted to take it much more seriously in terms of like the preparing for it. And I feel, truthfully, I feel like still at a 3 out of 10 though with the faith, and even though I do believe a lot, I still feel like there's a ton more that.
So would it be fair to say that because there were times before when you were doing it, you were a 10 out of 10? That's what you thought.
That's what I thought. Yeah.
And now you moved it 18 inches from the top of your head down into your heart, and now you're a 3 out of 10. Well, how did the goalpost move? How did the end zone move? What moved it?
Was it my belief, or was it?
Could it be that it's not that you didn't believe it before? It's now that you're using the applied faith?
Oh yeah, because there's a difference between saying I believe something and doing it, and believing.
No, really? There's no difference. People put affirmations on little 3x5 cards all the time, and they don't get it. But they say, I believe it. No, sorry. How's your results?
That's really interesting. So, I will say the idea also. There's another idea in the chapter on faith on self-esteem, and it's one thing. You feel super confident. A lot of people get these jobs and feel super confident because you think that all is well, and then you step into the next level, and the self-esteem, it's like, oh wow, we got some work to do on this. and once again, I believe the process is through repetition to
Right.
develop the self-esteem. So I think I'm at just a point where, I actually stepped out and did something that was in the unknown, and now it's like, okay, let's keep doing it so that, I went down to a 3 out of 10, but let's build it back up to a 10 out of 10, step into the next unknown, keep going up, if that kind of makes sense.
So, what's the phrase Einstein says about problems? Problems made with the mind of man can't be solved by the same mind that created them.
Hmm.
So, what is so then you have, it might serve you well to, what's the new problem I'm solving? Because that's why you're a 3 out of 10. You were a 10 out of 10 when you would do this before. I'm doing it. I'm reading it. I got underlining. I'm outlining. I got notes every freaking where.
Hmm.
You were a 10 out of 10 with enthusiasm. So now you found a bigger problem to solve. It's not that you have doubt. It's not that you have lack. It's not that you question. It's a bigger problem to solve. What's the bigger problem you're now solving?
The bigger problem. You want me to say it?
Yeah, you don't have to, but you can if you want. Let me
Oh.
ask you this. Let me ask you this. So you don't have to say it. Do you realize that you're solving a bigger problem now? You went on to a bigger challenge.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Okay.
definitely.
And that's the key, and that's where most people get stagnant. Is nothing fails like success. 110 episodes are awesome, but every one of them is a failure compared to this one.
Mm-hmm.
And then this one, 111, will be a failure compared. You mean a failure? Well, you can't do them again. So if you try to do them again, you wind up stuck in a pattern of habitual actions, and there's no reason to have faith. If I know what I know that I know that I know, there's no reason to have faith. There's no reason to have purpose. There's no reason to have desire.
I gotcha. Yeah.
Congratulations.
Mm-hmm. No, you're right there, because when let's say, for example, like before yesterday was awesome, and I was doing the things I was confident in, and there was just it was funny to say I was going on autopilot, I'd say. I got to a point where I was on autopilot, and so it's like, well, what's the reason to believe in the bigger purpose? I'm just if that makes sense. and so yeah, when you do step into the next level of the idea that you're going towards, the the survival mode kicks in. So you really do need to trust in this idea of faith, and I feel like there's more to be said, but what are your thoughts?
Well, the idea of faith is if you were to give the current faith you have a relevant size.
Hmm.
What structure, what edifice, what landmass could you think of that's the size of your faith? If you had to give it a size.
Okay, so let's say my faith is in terms of just geography. Let's say my faith is the size of my little town, okay, like Langhorne, PA. But there's
Yep.
also, you can have the faith of the county, which could be a little bigger, or the faith of the state. So, and then the country. So
And then what did it say in the Bible?
I have no clue.
Those with the faith of the size of a mustard seed.
Oh yeah, I remember this conversation. So I don't know the exact quote.
So that's what it is. Those with the faith of the size of a mustard seed. Those with faith that the size of a mustard seed. Do you know how big a mustard seed is? It's like the tiniest little seed.
Mm.
If you have that true faith, that's all you need. And this is why I'm glad you gave people the example of the county they live in, or the town they live in, the county, the state, the country, the hemisphere, our Earth, bigger than the universe, bigger than our galaxy. When you have true faith, the size of a mustard seed, there is no fear and doubt. Faith and courage knocked down the home of fear and doubt. Fear and doubt Fear and doubt knocked down the home of faith and courage.
Mm-hmm.
Faith and courage opened the door and no one was there. So with faith and with courage, there's never fear and doubt.
Okay. Let's let's talk about that. Uh, so my initial thought that you were gonna say is you need to have the faith of a mountain, actually, rather than the faith of a tiny mustard seed. And now I am a little confused. Is it supposed to be like my whole, I get the idea of when, or I had this idea come into me where it was okay, I had this burning desire. And even though I was going through a little bit of a shitstorm, the desire was all I could think about. So it sort of didn't let that other crap into just, my mind. And so, we're talking about faith so tiny, but are you saying it's consuming all your thoughts, even that tiny seed? Okay.
Just like your desire. I had a mentor once tell me everything has a center point.
Hmm.
There's a building in front of me. If I could find a pole strong enough, I could balance that building. There's a point at which everything has a center.
Hmm.
And at that center, the entire building exists. So your burning desire that you said, even though I was going through a shitstorm, it didn't matter how big you weren't going through it. It just looked like you should be going through it, but your burning desire kept you from experiencing it.
Hmm. Yeah.
So faith, when you truly have faith, do you have faith that your parents love you?
Yep. Yeah.
Could I convince you otherwise?
No, we had this conversation. They love me.
So, how much of your faith do you really need to be convinced that they love you? You have acres and universes of awareness,
Hmm.
but it only takes it takes half of a mustard seed, the faith that you have to have pure faith.
Uh-huh.
You see what's happening now? You love them beyond you would move a mountain for them.
Hmm.
Yet you only need half of a mustard seed because you already have the faith and the knowledge and the knowing and the experience. The challenge with faith on a new application, a new journey, a new venture, is that they're looking for validation, they're looking for confirmation in the action, but the actions can't confirm anything because they're not from the true faith.
Uh-huh.
So I'm going to go build this building, and I know what it looks like, but it looks like crap. Why? Well, because I'm not a carpenter. Well, then you dumbass. Well, I have faith. No, you have no talent. You're not a carpenter. No, this is where Waddles talks about go find the right business, find the right thing, and you can have unlimited faith. You can have the faith of a mustard seed and change the world.
Yeah, wow. That's a lot. Hold up. Sorry about that. Just got a call.
So that's the conversation.
Yeah. Hey, let me see. Am I still? Yeah, I'm still live. Well, okay. So a lot of questions have popped up from it. Now,
Shocking.
now, okay. So this idea of certainty. It's the half the mustard seed, right? But it still fills up all of your thoughts. I'm trying to picture this because I keep doing this, but I'm thinking of a tiny little seed and then this circle, and I'm trying to think of how does that fill up the whole circle, which is my mind.
So, mechanical or electrical engineer? Which one are you?
Mechanical.
Mechanical. So, what's the strongest element that you're aware of? The strength-wise, tensile strength-wise.
I will say this: I'm more of a salesman with an engineering degree.
So titanium's pretty strong, right?
Yeah.
And it's pretty.
Mm-hmm.
So titanium. Lead is pretty strong, but it's very malleable. They're both in the metal world. Why is titanium so much what they use for hips and everything because of its lightness and its antibiotic, all of that stuff, versus lead? It's its chemical structure.
Mm-hmm.
So when we talk about the amount of faith necessary for something to become all-consuming, it's much like a firecracker and dynamite, right? If I put the same amount, the same physical size of both, one would blow up a car and the other one would go boop. It's based upon its makeup, right? So Mark Twain said, the difference between lightning and the lightning bug, that's the power of words. Choosing the right word or the almost right word is the difference between lightning and a lightning bug. So when we start to have our faith, there's certain words that drive us deep. Mom and dad, for you, means something totally different than somebody who was abused by their parents. It's the same words, mom and dad. It's our understanding of it. So how do people get an understanding of faith? They have to use it. Mm-hmm. And the best way to use it is to have an idea, hold an idea in the thinking stuff, Wallace D. Wattles, and say, listen, universe, listen, God, whatever your faith may be, God, just give me an answer. Just show me that I had nothing to do with it. And usually you go, oh my God, you won't believe what happened. When you've ever had, if anybody's ever had you won't believe what happened, that was faith. And that's how we begin to apply it. It's no different than a muscle. It's no different than working out your bicep. It's just most people never spend the time in meditation, in conversation, in gratitude, in journaling, and writing their definite major purpose. They never activate their faith muscle.
Oh wow, that's cool to think of it like a muscle. Now, I mean, yeah, so I guess like yeah, there's applied faith, but going back to the idea of self-esteem, right? Because I think this is a really important part in the chapter that I kind of overlook. Like, I'm doing something where I just gotta trust in the process, right? And yeah, like the self-esteem does go down no matter how confident I was before myself. I really would love to hear your thoughts on kind of improving that in the sense that you can blow through the negativity or the outside or not the outside, the inner like chitter chatter of like that.
We let our external environment influence our personal environment. Mm-hmm. So it is both external and internal. So when we need to go through the chatter, we need to address the old story. Mm. And when we see resistance, are we resisting the new, or is the old resisting the change? And when you figure out which direction the resistance is flowing, you can make better adjustments. Mm. Right? If I were to divert a river and I needed to keep it from people downstream, well, if I tried to divert it the wrong way, if I tried to make the river go a different way or divert in the wrong spot based upon the flow of the river, I could ruin everything. And everybody just thinks that diverting or changing or I'm going to journal one. On the short side, which is a big lie, people say it takes 21 days to form a habit. No, it takes 21 days to begin a habit. It takes 18 months for it to totally rewire the body, 6 to 18 months at a cellular level, at a neurological level. Mm-hmm. So how do we have faith? Well, are you ready to stick it out for the next 12 months?
Wow.
Every day have faith. Every day believe that catapult. And every day get better. Every day, principle of Kaizen, 1% every day. And if you're not willing to do that, you're going to wind up 12 months from now and you're going to go, this doesn't work. Of course it doesn't work because you didn't work it. Hmm. And then as soon as you cross over, there's no turning back. You can't undo it. It's kind kind of like the arrow in FedEx. For anybody that doesn't know, there's an arrow in the word FedEx, and if you don't know it, go look at the word FedEx. And as soon as you see the arrow, you go, "Son of a bitch! Holy crap! Has that been there the whole time?" And now you won't be able to unsee it.
Mm-hmm.
Most people practice so they don't fail. Professionals practice so they can't.
Yeah.
And that's what the process is that you're walking people through. Having desire. Practice till you can't fail. Because if you can fail and fall off the wagon 2 weeks from now, you haven't practiced enough.
Mm-hmm.
Faith, having faith. Oh my gosh. If faith was so easy, why does it take monks 18 years? And then why do we listen to them? The Jay Shettys of the world. Why do we listen to them? Because they spend a lot of hours in faith. Have we practiced that enough for ourselves? 10,000 hours to be an outlier? Isn't that what the book's 10,000 hours? Have you done the math on that?
Well, yeah, it's what, over 12 years?
Yeah.
Even further?
But I read the book once. Why does my life still suck?
Yeah. Wow, that was great stuff. I really appreciate you jumping on here. Now, I do gotta jump off because I do need to eat some lunch, but
Tell Daniela hi.
hey Daniela. All right, well, hey, definitely.
Go to lunch, go make a bunch of sales, and go make people happy. Thank you for doing this. Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, thank you for joining. I'm gonna watch this video again. This is cool.
All right, brother.
All right, see ya.
I'm gonna call you.
All right.
Okay.
All right, bye everybody.